Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Michelle Area, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist. I'm at Aventura Hospital Diabetes and Nutrition Outpatient Program. And today, I'm very excited that you're here with me. Last week, we had the opportunity to talk about immune boosting foods. And so today, as a follow-up to that, we're going to do a little cooking demo, incorporating some of the things that we learned last week. So before I get into the cooking, I want to just pull up my screen. Where is the share screen? Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm going to pull up my screen for a minute, and I want to just go over very quickly the different immune boosting nutrients that we had discussed. So, we went into detail last week about all these different nutrients, and I just wanted to just go over them really, really quickly. So the first nutrient is probiotics, and probiotics is that healthy bacteria that we get from foods like yogurt and kefir and kombucha, and it helps support that our gut, which is our biggest immune organ. Then we have prebiotics, and prebiotics are those foods that feed those probiotics, those healthy bacteria. So that's in general fibers. For the most part, are those prebiotics. And when we talk about probiotics and prebiotics, we have to, of course, talk about symbiotics, which are those foods that have both the probiotics and the prebiotics together, which are those beautiful fermented foods. We also talked about bone broth and about the benefits of boosting the immune system, helping with collagen formation, helping keeping that mucus layer of our digestive system healthy, among many other things. We talked about vitamin D and all of the wonderful immune boosting properties of having vitamin D, the importance of having adequate vitamin D levels. It really makes a difference in order for us to help prevent or fight diseases. Vitamin C is that power super antioxidant that is really great, helps boost our immune system. Zinc as well is a big immune booster. Quercetin, we said that was a really, really powerful, helps with detoxification, helps boosting our immune system, and including quercetin foods is very important. Omega-3 fatty acids, which we found from fish or seafood, or we can also find from vegetarian sources, like different nuts and seeds. We also talked about ginger and garlic and about those health benefits that they provide to help boost the immune system, decrease inflammation, etc. And different herbs and the benefits of the herbs. I also wanted to talk briefly about how it looks like. And so that's where we are going to come in today. Today we're going to do a little cooking demo to kind of see how all of these different nutrients come into play and how we can actually see it on our plate. Okay, so this is a beautiful plate guide that we have here, the immune supporting plate. In general, I love what we call the plate method, because the plate method is a very simple tool to helping us prepare our meals. So the idea behind the plate method is the first thing we do is we divide the plate in half, and half of our plate we fill up with mostly our non-starchy vegetables, mostly vegetables and also some fruits as well. The more colorful, the better. Okay, so we want to really, really make those colors come through in our plates. You want to have at least 2 or 3 different colors in your plates, and you want bright colors. The brighter the colors, the more nutrients you're getting. So when it comes to vegetables, you want to see bell peppers on there, all colors of bell peppers, because they all have different benefits. You want to see cauliflower, tomato, mushrooms, leeks, garlic, onions, broccoli, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, ginger, leafy greens, sweet potatoes, Jerusalem artichokes, beets, and I can go on and on and on when it comes to those vegetables. Fruits, we also want to have fruits, and we want to have those really colorful fruits. So that's going to be citruses, all kinds of berries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, grapes, kiwi, pineapple, guava, mango, papaya, etc. So the more color, the better it is. We want to be limited with the amount of fruits that we eat, especially for our patients with diabetes. So we want to eat fruits. We don't want to overdo it with the fruits, okay? Then we divide, as we mentioned, we divide the plate in half. So now the second half of the plate, we're going to divide those in quarters. So 1/4 of the plate is going to be your whole grains, nuts and seeds, and then another quarter of the plate would be your protein. So in the whole grains, this will have things like whole grain, all kinds of whole grains like brown rice, quinoa, buckwheat, oats, also whole grain. We also include in this section also in general starchy foods. So that's where your vegetables that would be more starchy would come in. So like the sweet potato and the yams and the corn and the beans and legumes and things like that. Okay, then the other quarter of the plate would be your protein, and this will be things like the more of those fatty fish, the better. So the salmon and the sardines and the mackerel, and that's where we also include grass-fed beef and chicken and eggs. So that's where that protein comes in. So if we make our plates look like this, we're doing a really, really great job. We also want to make sure that we're including at every meal some healthy fats, healthy oils. So healthy oils are things like olive oil, grapeseed oil, walnut oil, avocado oil, cod liver oil, grass-fed butter or ghee. We want now even, I don't know, there's really tons of new products in the market. I just found myself a beautiful almond oil in Costco, and almonds have amazing fatty acids, so those are really great and can be used for cooking as well. And then of course we want to have water, especially water, beverages, you know, you want to limit it to mostly water, or some of those immune boosting ones like kombucha, green and black teas. We didn't talk about teas last time, but teas in general have so many amazing properties in boosting immune system as well. Kefir, which is that fermented yogurt, etc. We really want to limit our intake of juices, sodas. These are not part of immune boosting. On the contrary, I feel that they can even lower our immunity because juices have lots of sugar, and this can be a problem. And sodas even much more. Even if it's a diet ones, they're still filled with so many additives and colorants and other things that it's really not the best thing for the body. In regards to other things, as I mentioned, vitamin D, probiotics, omega-3, bone broth, fermented foods. So these are all things that we want to make sure that we're included. So now that we just touched on that, we're going to move on with our cooking demo right behind me. So hopefully you guys will be able to see this. It's a little bit challenging to do it over the computer like this, but we're gonna do what we can. We're also gonna be sharing the recipe. So the recipe that we're doing today, I'm gonna quickly show it to you. It is going to be an immune boosting kale salad. And if you can see that my screen now, but basically this is the recipe that we're looking at. Hopefully we'll be able to post the actual recipe as well when we post this video, so you guys can follow the recipe along. But I will kind of zoom out a little bit here if you want to look at it pretty quickly. So what we are including in the salad, what we're including in the dressing, and what we're including for the toppings. And then on the second page on this, there's some directions about how to make it. So I'm going to move over to my table behind me, and hopefully I'll be able to show this to you and share some of the great benefits.
We cannot see you.
You cannot see me.
Your video, yeah.
Okay. Stop share. Am I back? Can you guys see me?
No.
Where's the PowerPoint?
Yes, I see you, Michelle. I see you. I think sometimes when you have a lot of participants, some are up and others are down. So that's why some people don't see you when you share the screen.
Okay, now I see you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, so we're back to me. So we're gonna go ahead and make this recipe now. I'm gonna bring my phone closer to me because on the phone I have the audio, because the computer is kind of far away from here. So that way you can all listen to me as I'm doing this. All right. So of course, I already washed my hands really well with lots of soap and water. That's something that is very important anytime that you're going to start cooking at home. Please keep that in mind, of course. So we're going to start off with our kale. And in this recipe, I'm using kale, but in reality, you can use any greens that you want for this recipe. Kale has tons of health benefits, and specifically, kale is a very, very powerful antioxidant. It has, remember those nutrients that we were talking about a little while ago? Well, kale actually has tons of quercetin in it. So that's one of those really, really powerful immune boosting properties. It also has tons of vitamin C in there. It also has lots of fibers, so that those prebiotics that will feed the healthy bacteria in our gut. Something happened with my computer. Can you guys see me still?
Yes, we see you from the computer, from far.
Okay. So, yeah, close that. Yeah. Okay. It turned out for a minute. There was something popped up. I'm sorry about that, guys. Okay. So kale. Kale is also super high in vitamin K, and vitamin K is very important for blood clotting. And so it's one of the highest foods when it comes to vitamin K out there.
Michelle,
yes.
If people want to see you instead of seeing your picture from your phone, click on her picture. Click on her actual picture of where she has doing the cooking, and it becomes enlarged, everyone. So you can see her instead of the pictures. You can actually, because you can select who you want to see, okay? So Lori, all the other participants, just click on the one.
Yeah, that's what I was going to be worried about, because when you're talking, usually the picture of
but if everybody selects the one I'm telling them, that's what they see and not the phone.
So on the upper right corner of my video, there's going to be a little, you can pin video on there, and then you're going to be able to see my video on your screen. Okay. Are we good? Okay, so I'm going to continue. All right, so kale. Kale also has some numerous anti-cancer, cancer-fighting nutrients as well. One of these are sulforaphane, which is a really, really powerful nutrient that helps with starting this immune fighting properties, and it also helps decrease inflammation a lot. So kale has really such wonderful health benefits. For a long time, kale was the biggest health craze, and I love kale. You do want to be careful with kale, especially for people that have problems with your thyroid. You don't want to eat too much kale because it can definitely cause a little bit of issues with thyroid. So you don't want to eat kale every day, but having it a few times a week can be very beneficial. So we start off with the kale, and what I recommend is, I mean, right here, I have a bag of baby kale, and baby kale is very easy to work with because it's much less tough than the large kale leaves. Now, in general, kale can be very tough. So one thing that we do to help tenderize that kale is that you want to add some type of acid, and that acid can be lemon or lime or vinegar. And I mean, you have to find which is the acid that you enjoy specifically. I like to use lime or lemon for that. And so what you actually want to do is that you want to put your kale in your bowl, and then you want to put your acid, and you actually want to massage your kale, okay? And this is actually a very important process of getting that kale to be soft and so that you can actually enjoy it so much more, okay? So really, you want to go in with your hand and massage it and massage it and massage it until it kind of starts breaking down a little bit. You don't want it to be all withered, but for sure you want that process. It's very important. Now, as you're doing that, what I would usually do as well is that, or I would have done this beforehand, which is what I have here. So this recipe calls for cubed sweet potato and cubed beets and cubed and roasted. So you want to take your sweet potatoes and your beets, and you want to cut them up, and you want to cut them up into little chunks or little cubes. Put some olive oil on there. You can put a little bit of salt and pepper, not too much, because of course, once you're seasoning your salad, if you're putting too much salt and pepper to those vegetables, it's gonna overpower when it comes to the dressing, to the salad itself. So what you want to do is you want to preheat your oven to 375 degrees, and then you want to put in those, in a baking sheet, the sweet potato and the beets, and you just want to roast it in there. And you're going to roast it for about 30 to 45 minutes. You want to, kind of look at it. Also, beets nowadays, you can get the beets already pre-packaged. I'm sure that most of you have seen those, but they come pre-cooked already. They're actually ready to go, just to be cubed up and put into the salad. So you don't even have to do anything with that. Or you could still roast those that have been cooked already to kind of caramelize it a little bit as well, okay? Now, what are the beautiful health benefits of sweet potato and beets? Well, these are really colorful vegetables. So what does color mean? Color means tons of nutrients in there. So tons of vitamin A, tons of vitamin C in there. All kinds of different minerals, potassium, magnesium, zinc. It also has a lot of those prebiotics, which are that fiber that feeds our healthy bacteria, okay? So we want to definitely include these in our diet. The beets also have other nutrients that it has is B1, B2, B6. It has also tons of iron in there, so it's really good for anemia. So, you know, including these in our diet is really a great way to keeping our body healthy. It can help with lowering blood pressure. It can help with, I'm just going through all my notes here. It can help with lowering blood pressure. It can help with preventing different cancers. So these are all very, very, very powerful nutrients as well. So then once your kale is tenderized, this is where at this point you would kind of start adding your toppings. And the toppings that I include here, you know, I mentioned already the sweet potato and the beets, and these are really, really powerful. But I also am including in this salad, I'm including quinoa. And quinoa, you know, I'm quinoa is a really, really wonderful grain. It has tons of fiber in there. It has a lot of protein, plant-based protein in there. So it really, you know, you could make this meal or this dish a completely plant-based dish as well. So you can choose to add animal protein to it, or you can just choose to leave it as a plant-based meal. And we're all trying to eat a little bit more plant-based. So, you know, this is a great way of doing that. So right now I'm putting into my salad the sweet potatoes. And then we're gonna put in some of these beets in here as well. Okay, and it really gives it such beautiful color, you know, to have all these different colors in there. It just makes it so much more appetizing as well. So we have the kale, and we have the sweet potato and the beets. And now I'm gonna add some of the cooked up quinoa. Now, quinoa is very similar to rice for cooking it. It's pretty simple to cook. You can follow the package instructions in the back of the box, but usually it's about, you know, what for 1 cup of quinoa, 1 cup of rice, or maybe 1.5 cups of rice. It all depends how you like it. Some people like it a little bit more firm, so you put a little bit less water in there. And some people like it a little bit more moist or softer, so you would just add a little more water in there. I also like to, when I make my quinoa, I like to add a little bit of onions and a little bit of garlic to give it some flavor. So quinoa, you can add it just like this into a salad, into a tossed salad. But quinoa also you can use as your grain, as a side dish in your plate. So quinoa is very, very versatile. So I'm just adding in my quinoa into the salad. And I'm just sprinkling it in there. And for quinoa, actually I'll just include in there some other health benefits of quinoa. So quinoa actually has a lot of a nutrient called B2, which is riboflavin. And riboflavin is actually, and it also has a lot of magnesium in there. And so because it has the magnesium in the riboflavin, it actually helps relaxes our blood vessels, and it actually can help with migraines. So if you suffer a migraine, this is a great food that you can add to your diet. It also helps with cardiovascular disease because it has that same magnesium in there. So it really has so many health benefits to include quinoa in your diet. So, and another one that I'm just going to put out there as well from my research on this, it can actually help avoid women get gallstones, which is really interesting. That was in a study that was published in the American Journal of Gastroenterology. So that's pretty cool. So quinoa is wonderful. So we added in our quinoa, and at this point, I mean, the sky's the limit with the toppings that you can add. But basically, that's kind of the base of the salad. And now I would work on my dressing. And so for my dressing, I actually chef was so kind enough to pre-make it for me using my recipe. So, but basically what the dressing has in here, it has olive oil, it has apple cider vinegar, it has some Dijon mustard, it has a little bit of honey, and it has, and then you just add salt and pepper to taste. Now, olive oil. Olive oil is very, very powerful to helping decrease inflammation and boosting immune system. When it comes to olive oil, the main thing that you're looking for when it comes to olive oil is that you want to buy one. Ideally, if it's possible, organic would be even the best. But the key that you're looking for is that it needs to read cold pressed. If your olive oil does not say cold pressed, you don't want to buy that olive oil. So I'm going to come up closer to the camera, and this is just one sample that I have here. And you see where it says they're cold pressed, okay? So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for an olive oil. You're looking for an olive oil that says cold pressed. Why? Because that's the most powerful, nutrient-rich olive oil that you can buy. And the reason why is that when they're making olive oil, they're pressing the first thing that they do is that they press the olives without any heat or any chemicals. That process, that first press, that's a cold pressed olive oil. That's going to be the most potent olive oil that you're going to get, and that's going to be the first kind of batch that is going to come out of those olives. And that olive oil is going to be filled with huge health benefits. So it's going to be filled with phenols, and it's going to be filled with flavonoids, and it's going to be filled with ligands and flavonols, and all of these that I'm just telling you, these are all basically fancy words, chemical, properties that come from the olive oil. These are called, in general, they're called polyphenols, and these are the ones that exert all those health benefits. So the health benefits of the anti-inflammatory, to decrease that inflammation, and it has those immune boosting benefits, and it has cardiovascular benefits, so it helps lower our bad cholesterol and increase our good cholesterol, and it helps with bone health, and it helps with digestive health, and it has cognitive benefits, and it has anti-cancer benefits, and I can keep on going on and on and on all of the health benefits that olive oil has. But the key here is that cold pressed olive oil. After that first batch of cold pressed olive oil, then start applying either heat or different types of chemicals, I guess, to help extract even more oil from those olives. But you don't get all of those great quality, unfortunately. So you really want to make sure that you're buying a good olive oil if you're going to use olive oil. There's also there's some websites out there that do third-party testing for olive oils to verify quality of the products. So if you want to check those out, there's really because there's definitely been some reports in the media about the quality of all the olive oils have the same quality, and the truth is that they're not all the same quality. So you really want to do your research and find some olive oils that are the highest quality ones. I personally I love Costco. Costco has their own Kirkland organic olive oil. It's a wonderful one. Whole Foods 365 has great olive oils as well. So you really want to look for those great oils. So back to my recipe. So we talked about olive oil. Apple cider vinegar also has humongous health benefits. And apple cider vinegar is actually also a probiotic because it actually has good, healthy bacteria in there. So that's actually another great way to boost the immune system. So You add the apple cider vinegar, the Dijon mustard, the honey, and you just whisk it all up together. And then you end up with kind of the mustard. What the mustard does, the mustard is actually a way of binding the fat with the liquid together. It has this property that does that, and so it emulsifies it. So using mustard is a really great way of getting an emulsified dressing. So that's where my dressing is. And so I would just, kind of, you pour in your dressing into your salad, and you don't want to overdo it with the dressing. You don't want to drench it too much. You just want to have just enough to kind of coat the dressing. And so that's what I did here. I think I need a little bit more in here. Okay. And there we go. Beautiful. So the salad is coming together really, really nice. And so that's basically the dressing, the salad. Now comes the toppings, and toppings are what makes salads really, really wonderful. It really brings it takes those salads up another notch, let's say, because you can add some toppings that can really be very, very immune boosting for you as well. But it can also do a lot of other wonderful benefits. So what I'm adding to this salad as a topping is that I'm adding right now garbanzo beans. And actually, garbanzo beans is very, very well known. It's very much used in Mediterranean style diet. It has so many amazing benefits, garbanzo beans. Garbanzo beans first of all, they have tons of protein, which is, a very great way of getting protein, especially if you're on a plant-based diet. It has a lot of fiber. So fiber is what? Fiber is those prebiotics to feed that healthy bacteria in our gut. So it's really important. It also has manganese, which is it's important for energy production in our body. It has folate in there, and folate is so important, especially for women that are in childbearing years. But it also helps prevent, birth defects, and it also is good for our nervous system. So garbanzo beans have really amazing benefits, and just 1 cup of garbanzo beans has 70% of the RDA required, the requirements for folate, which is amazing. It also is a very good source of iron. So having garbanzos as to be able to boost that iron, those iron stores, is also a great way. So the garbanzo, you could use canned garbanzo. If you're going to use canned, you want to rinse it out really well. You can also use dried and cook them, or you can also, once you have cooked them, or if you're using the canned one, you can roast them in the oven. Once you roast garbanzo beans in the oven, they become crunchy. And having these crunchy garbanzo, that's an amazing snack. So you can use these garbanzo beans that have been roasted just as a snack, in between your meals kind of thing. But you can use it as topping for salads. And it gives really wonderful crunch to your salad without, let's say, having to add croutons in there. If you like croutons because of that crunch that it gives, the roasted garbanzo beans will do the same thing. Nowadays, you can even buy the roasted garbanzo beans already in bags as well. I was in Whole Foods the other, and in Target, and in Costco the other day, and I found a big bag of it, so it's very convenient. So you can make it yourself at home, or you can buy it already kind of made as well. Okay. So we added in those garbanzo beans, or the chickpeas, whatever you want to call it. The other topping that I'm going to be adding on here is I have here almonds, roasted almonds, or you could use also, could use pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds or any other seeds or nuts that you would like or that you enjoy. There's huge health benefits when it comes to adding nuts and seeds. In this case, I have here almonds. That's what was available to us today. But really, almonds are a very good source of vitamin E and manganese. They're also a great source of magnesium, copper, riboflavin, phosphorus, and it really has tons of these healthy fats, the monounsaturated fatty acids, which is the same healthy fats that are in our olive oil over there. So that's another really great way. It also has a lot of fiber, so it feeds those healthy bacteria in our gut. Those it's a prebiotic food. It also has a lot of protein as well. It helps lower our LDL cholesterol, which is our bad cholesterol. It helps bring up our good cholesterol. So it has tons of wonderful health benefits and immune boosting health benefits. So I'm just pouring in there some almonds as well. And then some other toppings that you could use on there. You can add some protein in the form of cheeses like goat cheese or feta cheese. You could use some tofu. You could use some fish on there. You can put some salmon if you would like, or some diced up chicken or turkey to get some extra protein. But really, I'm going to tell you, I see this plate and I see tons of protein in there between the quinoa and the garbanzo beans and the almonds in there. It really has a lot of protein. So if you want to add just a little bit of those just for the flavor, you can do that as well. You don't need add a lot of animal protein in there. And I have here in front of me, I have some crumbled up feta cheese. So I'm going to put a little bit of that in there just for the flavor of it, especially in contrast with the beets, the saltiness of the cheese and the beets that are sweet. It makes a little nice contrast there. And finally, I have actually my last little secret ingredient here. And I'm going to bring it up closer to the screen. All good, all good. Okay, we're good. Something just on the side. Okay, so I have here capers. Okay, and I don't know if you guys remember in my in last week seminar, I actually talked about quercetin also, which we just mentioned it a few minutes ago, and the wonderful health benefits of quercetin. And actually the capers is one of the highest levels of quercetin foods out there. So just for about 100 grams of these capers, which is, I mean, it's a significant amount, but even if you do a little bit, but just in 100 grams of capers, you have 234 milligrams of quercetin, which is really, really high. So just as the kale had a lot of quercetin, the capers also have a lot of quercetin. So I'm pulling out this secret ingredient. People are not so much used to using capers unless you're more accustomed, let's say, to a Mediterranean style diet. It's very, very commonly used in the Mediterranean countries. So capers is wonderful, and it's a little bit sour taste to it, or a little acidic taste to it, but it really has so many health benefits. So I just added a little bit of capers on the top of my salad, and basically that's a salad. I would love, what I'm gonna do right now is that I'm gonna plate it up and I'm gonna show everybody closer to the screen kind of what it looks like. It looks beautiful. It's very colorful. And I think that I'm gonna come around this way to show you guys. Okay, can you guys see that? All right, so it's very, very colorful. It has tons of flavors in there, tons of colors, and textures, different textures, which make it really beautiful for a salad. And I think that's my salad presentation. I'm gonna open up the line for questions at this time, if that's okay. If anybody has any questions for me.
Yeah, Michelle, hi, Sabrina. I have a question.
Hi, Sabrina.
Can you repeat again how you tender the kale? So you massage with your hands and some other stuff?
Yes, so for the kale, the way that you tenderize kale is that you add something acidic first. So it can be limes or lemons, it can be a little bit of vinegar, and then what you're gonna do is that you're gonna actually massage it. And massaging the kale is really a great way. It's the way to tenderize it, because especially if it's, I mean, I just mentioned that I have here in front of me, I have baby kale. So baby kale is kind of like a spinach. It is pretty tender, but the whole kale leaves tend to be very, very tough. So definitely it's very important to have that process of tenderizing that kale. Thank you. That's a great question.
Yeah. And where can we buy the baby kale? Because it's not easy to find.
Yeah, it's not so easy to find. That's true. I have been able to find it. I've been able to find it at Target a few times. I've seen it in Whole Foods as well. It's not so commonly found. I agree on that. But you can definitely find it. You just have to, search a little bit.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Any other questions? No other questions? Okay. Regina, I think that if there's